After buying and selling over 600 lots, I've learned that the land world is full of myths, half-truths, and flat-out lies. So in this video, I'm going to reveal the 10 huge lies about buying land so you don't end up wasting thousands of dollars on land you can't use or sell. Now, lie number 1 can make your unrestricted land feel like a prison. Say you finally score 2 acres with no HOA. Freedom at last. You roll your RV onto the land, start clearing brush, and hire a guy with a backhoe to dig for your septic system. This is it, the life you've been dreaming of. But halfway through, a white truck pulls up. An official looking guy steps out and slaps a bright red notice to your post in big letters. Stop all work immediately. So what happened? That red notice was the county shutting your project down. And just like that, your dream lot is off limits. But here's the kicker. Your septic guy still wants his check. So what was the lie? The lie is that no HOA means no rules. The truth? Counties still have zoning laws and building codes, and most counties don't allow RVs or unpermitted septic systems. So before you buy, call the county planning and zoning office and ask exactly what's allowed. Now, lie number 2 can turn a bargain into a financial disaster. Say you find 3 acres beside a quiet creek, beautiful, peaceful, and the price is a steal. You ask about the flood zone and the realtor smiles. Don't worry, it's just a 100-year floodplain. So you buy the land, build your dream cabin, but a year later, a big storm rolls in. And what happens next makes your stomach drop. So what happened? Your brand new cabin, knee deep in muddy water. Your septic system, underwater and useless. Now you have to raise your foundation and your flood insurance premiums shoot higher than your property taxes. But the good news is you've got a swimming pool. Bad news, it's called your basement. So what was the lie? The lie is that a 100-year floodplain only floods once every 100 years. The truth? There's a 1% chance of flooding every single year. And over a 30-year mortgage, that's about a 1 in 4 chance your land will flood at least once. So before you buy, always check FEMA flood maps and price out flood insurance. Now, lie number 3 can give you a false sense of security that ends up costing you everything. You find 5 acres at a great price. You even pay extra for title insurance just for peace of mind. You can't wait to start planning your dream home, so you file for a septic permit. A few weeks later, a letter arrives. You open it expecting a routine approval, but instead, the first line hits like a punch to the gut. So what happened? The land failed the perk test, which means the soil can't support a septic system. No septic, no house. But the good news is you're a landowner. Bad news, you're also a porta potty owner. So what was the lie? The lie is that buying title insurance means you don't need to do due diligence. The truth? Title insurance only protects you against past ownership and lien issues. It won't tell you things like if the land perks for septic, if it sits in a floodplain, or if it's landlocked. Now, lie number 4 can seem simple, but it hides a nasty surprise. You find a cheap lot on a street with 3 beautiful homes. It feels like the perfect place to build. So you buy the property and then hire an architect to draw plans for your dream house. But when you submit them to the county, the application comes back stamped in big bold letters. Denied. So what happened? Even though your lot is the same size as the neighbors, it's too small to be built on. So now your dream lot is the neighborhood's free parking overflow. So what was the lie? The lie is that if there are homes nearby, you can build one too. The truth? Older homes can be grandfathered in under old rules, but your lot has to meet today's code. So before you buy, call the county planning and zoning office. Ask if the lot meets the current size and setback requirements and whether it qualifies for a variance. Now, lie number 5 can cost you thousands before you even get out of your truck. You find 10 acres at an amazing price. No HOA, no restrictions. You drive out and see a little dirt road leading right up to it. Looks like fairly easy access, so you buy it. But a month later, you roll up in your truck, only to find the road chained off with a giant no trespassing sign staring right back at you. So what happened? That dirt road you saw, it cuts across a neighbor's land. The chain and the no trespassing sign were the neighbor shutting you out. At this point, your only driveway option is a jetpack. So what was the lie? The lie is that if there's a road leading to the property, you can use it. The truth? Plenty of parcels are surrounded by private property with no legal access at all. So before you buy, ask the title company or the county if there's a recorded easement that gives you the right to use that road or driveway. If there isn't, the only option is to negotiate with the neighbors, but that can get expensive fast. Now, lie number 6 can leave you asking why nobody warned you. You find 7 acres with a stream running right through it. Beautiful, peaceful, and the listing even brags about year-round water. You imagine pumping fresh water for your garden, maybe even setting up a little off-grid cabin by the bank. But a few months later, you get a letter from the state, and what it says makes your jaw drop. So what happened? The letter flat out says you have no right to use that stream, and that cabin by the water's edge, forget it. On the bright side, you'll always have freshwater sounds for your YouTube channel. So what was the lie? The lie is that if a stream runs through your property, you can use it any way you want. The truth? In many states, water rights are completely separate from land ownership. Without rights or permits, you can't pump from it, you can't divert it, and you can't build too close to it. If you try, the state can fine you thousands. So before you buy, always ask the county or state about water rights on the property. Now, lie number 7 can turn land that looks amazing into land you can't use. You find 5 acres in the Arizona desert, dry and wide open, the perfect off-grid cabin spot. So you buy it and walk into the county office with your building plans. The clerk looks up your parcel, frowns, stamps it in red ink, and says one word: denied. So what happened? Even though your parcel is dry now, it's low-lying and floods during monsoon season, which means the county has it flagged as off-limits. But the good news is you can still launch a kayak. Bad news? Only once in July. So what was the lie? The lie is that if the property is in the desert, it can't have wetlands. The truth? Wetlands are mapped everywhere, even in Arizona and Nevada, and building may require costly permits or might not be allowed at all. So before you buy, check the National Wetlands Inventory maps and ask the county if the parcel falls under any wetland or floodplain restrictions. Now, lie number 8 can make you miss the one thing that really matters. You buy 2 acres in the country, perfect spot for your cabin, and the realtor smiles. Don't worry, your neighbor has a well, you'll be fine. So you hire a driller, write the check, and wait for the fresh water to flow. But after days of pounding into the ground, the rig falls silent. The operator climbs down, looks at you, and what he says next makes your knees go weak. So what happened? There was no water in the drilling depth. But the good news is you have now got a story for dinner parties. Bad news? It cost 5 figures. So what was the lie? The lie is that if your neighbor has a well, you can drill one too. The truth? Groundwater isn't the same everywhere. Levels change and your lot might not have what your neighbor's does. So before you buy, look up well logs for nearby parcels to see how deep they had to drill and whether the water was usable. If you want more certainty, drill a test well first. Now, lie number 9 can leave you with a bill you never saw coming. You find a 1-acre lot on the edge of town. Power poles line the street, and there's even a water line nearby. Your realtor grins. You're all set, just hook right up. So you close on the property and call the utility company. But when the estimates come back, the number on the page makes you go lightheaded. So what happened? The utility company's estimate? $30,000 just to get power and water to your lot. Suddenly you understand why people go off-grid. So what was the lie? The lie is that if utilities are nearby, you can hook up easily. The truth? Utility companies often charge by the foot to extend service. Crossing a road, trenching, installing new poles, or upgrading transformers can add tens of thousands to your bill. So before you buy, always call the utility companies directly and ask for a written estimate to bring power, water, or sewer to the property line. Now, lie number 10 can turn an online rumor into a financial nightmare. You stumble on a video online that promises a secret loophole. File the right papers, claim a special title, and you will never have to pay property taxes or follow county rules ever again. Finally, True land freedom. So you buy a lot, skip the taxes, and start building without a permit. But a year later, you get a knock at the door, and what the county inspector does next leaves you speechless. So what happened? Papers get handed over, words like violation and lien get tossed around, and suddenly your dream property is slipping through your fingers. But the good news is, well, there isn't any. So what was the lie? The lie is that filing for a allodial title or claiming a land patent frees you from property taxes and county rules. The truth? In the US, no private landowner holds absolute allodial title, and land patents don't give you immunity from local laws. So counties still assess taxes every year, and if you don't pay, they add penalties, stack on interest, and file liens against your property. Let it go long enough and they can auction your land off at a tax sale to the highest bidder. And ignoring zoning or building codes, that can mean stop work orders, fines, or even tearing down what you built. But here's the thing, this video saved you 40K, but the next one might save you from buying land that floods faster than your bathtub.